too much speed on it, blowing too much air. I said, hey George, could you lower the fan? And I do it. So their behavior of next time coming and complaining about it is reinforced by the removal of that aversive stimulus. So that's negative. Their behavior of them asking to remove it is reinforced with through negative reinforcement.
Because you're removing.
You're removing the aversive.
But I don't.
So
what confuses me.
While you're measuring, you need to measure the behavior. What behavior are you measuring? The behavior of asking and advocating and saying, hey, could you please, this behavior, talking about it.
I understand the removing. What confuses me would be sometimes the punishment or the reinforcement. Why? Because I would have thought that you wanted to decrease.
Decrease what?
The being cold.
That's not a behavior, that's a stimulus.
Okay.
Your behavior is asking. So your behavior of asking increases and you do it more in the future, which you're going to do.
Okay, now.
Hopefully. Because you're not going to come the next day and it is high and you're going to go like, no, you're going to say, hey George, again, could you? So behavior is increasing. And then you go to somebody else and then you go in the car and they have the air conditioning high blown. Could you lower a little bit? If that behavior is increasing, that's being reinforced through negative reinforcement. So positive reinforcement, on the other hand, would be adding a stimulus and the behavior increases in the future. A behavior occurs, you add a stimulus, or a stimulus is added. I don't know, you add no. A stimulus is added by whomever or by chances. And the behavior as a result increases as positive reinforcement. Because the behavior is increasing. Look at an arrow pointing up. Behavior is increasing, is reinforcement. Now, how do I know what kind of, if it is negative or positive? Well, was a stimulus removed or added? Now, on the other hand, punishment, well, what you're going to say, negative punishment. A very good example would be the behavior of speeding. You want to reduce, punishment reduces, right? You want to reduce the behavior of the behavior of speeding. So they take a stimulus away, which is money. Money is a stimulus. Can you see money? Can you touch money? Can you smell money? Yeah, maybe could you taste money? I'm probably sure you can taste it. So it is a stimulus. A stimulus is what? Something that could be perceived by your senses. Okay. So money is a stimulus. So the removal of the money, of that stimulus, if it causes you to decrease speeding, it's negative punishment because the behavior is decreasing in the future.
Okay.
Disobeying the law. Disobeying the law. They punish you by removing what? Removing your freedom and removing your money, you know. So you want to reduce people disobeying law, so they use punishment to it. Okay. Now, if you're measuring obeying the law, then you want to remove the aversive would be if you want to remove the citation. If you want to remove the citation, not happening to you, then you obey the law. So that your behavior of obeying the law increases in the future for removing the cop following you. Okay. So does it look the same? Yeah, but it depends on what you're measuring. If you're measuring behavior compliance up, then it's enforcement. But if you're measuring the behavior going down, then it would be punishment. Alright, let's continue here. Perfect assessment, continuous reinforcement, discrete trial training. Discrete trial training is table work, when you work on a controlled environment with a kid. Table, I control, I place the demand, I reinforce.
That's discrete.
Discrete trial training, you have a controlled environment, a controlled setting. Okay. You have the task, you have the materials, just setting up the individual to do what you want ahead of time. Now, naturalistic teaching or incidental teaching is when you're with the individual just walking around and things happen and you use that opportunity to teach the person. Alright? So instead of saying sun, rain, yellow, blue, you're walking with a guy and there is a school bus passing by. What is it? Oh, school bus. What color is it? Yellow. Very good. Is it big or small? Big. So you're using that, but the school just happened to pass by. Mm-hmm. You didn't tell the guy, hey, pass by my house. It just happened to happen. So it's as it happens. Shading. Shading is when you have a number of chain. Look at it as a chain. You need links, and those links are skills. So you put all those skills together to accomplish a more complex behavior. For example, if you have 5 more skills, and you could get a string and pass it through a little hole, and you could do knots and all that while you're ready for tying your shoes. But you need to have that in your repertoire. And then you go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. There we go, we're done. Now, that's chaining. With chaining, you have a task analysis to it. Task analysis will be breaking down the behavior into particles, like fragmented. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7.
Kind of like instructions.
Steps to achieve it. Steps to achieve it. You could break it down into 100 steps, 3 steps, 5 steps. It doesn't matter, but you have to have some steps to do the behavior. That's the task analysis. Discriminating training. Discriminating training is teaching the person when they're going to encounter reinforcement versus when they're not going to encounter reinforcement. For example, if I know, well, if somebody knows that the ice cream truck passes by, then okay, it's time to ask for ice cream. Versus when another truck passes by, the garbage truck. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna go, hey, can I get ice cream? You know they're not gonna get ice cream there, but you wait for it. So discriminating meaning differentiating which stimuli are gonna point towards reinforcement and which ones are not.
Okay.
Like, discriminating means I behave with this stimulus, I behave this way, and when the stimulus is not present, I don't behave in that way. In other words, when a cop is present, all of a sudden you're driving perfectly. A cop is gone, oh, I drive whatever. Okay. That is a discriminative stimulus. Finding out what would be a discriminative stimulus, meaning discriminative stimulus is more like when you're gonna get reinforcement versus not. So the cop is not the best example. It would be like a punishment indication, because you're gonna get most likely a ticket or something. I mean, I see that some people see police as, they're gonna help me and all that, but most of the time it's just to give you a ticket. So you want to stay away from cops. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, if you see somebody who is gonna give you kind of a gift, and the person, oh my goodness, that's more like a discriminative stimulus. Like when your dog sees you and you're the one who feeds the dog, it's gonna go after you. But if your mom doesn't feed the dogs, they wouldn't care less. Mm-hmm. So you're a discriminative stimulus for reinforcement, so they're gonna look after you.
Okay.
Also, when you tell a kid, hey, if you do this, this, and that, you're gonna get what you want. So that's it. You're telling the person how to get the reinforcement.
Okay.
A stimulus control is when you have what the individual wants or desires or is attracted to. So they are under stimulus control. They know you have, like nobody forces you to go to downtown at 6 a.m. in the morning, but they have the money for you to pay you. So you have to go to the employer, right? You are under stimulus control. So in other words, you have the reinforcers with you. You're controlling the reinforcers, meaning how much control you have over the reinforcer and how much control you have that you have trained the individual to know that you're gonna deliver the reinforcer. So they want your attention, your tangibles.
Use it for a kid. An example for a kid.
You have the PlayStation for you have the PlayStation for client M, and he's attracted to playing the PlayStation. So he's gonna work for you because he really is attracted to using the PlayStation.
Okay.
Now, if he has the PlayStation, you don't have any stimulus control. He has the control. So you control the stimulus, you control the reinforcer, in other words. A stimulus fading, fading procedures is, a stimulus fading is when you wanna probably let the individual work on his own instead of being under stimulus control. Like you want the individual work for other things instead of for you having the reinforcement. And in the case of the homework, you want the kid to do it because he wants good grades and all the things, not just because you are there and you have the reinforcement. That's the goal, to get the individual to do it on self-management, in other words. Prompting, remember, the most intrusive to least